Hey, what's up, you guys? Hope you're doing fantastic, man. Hey, just want to share a couple quick thoughts with you about testing. Um, I had a friend, a relative actually, that posted a comment about testing. Is this biblical? Is this something that God really does? Because basically, what you hear about the testing, most of the time, what you hear is the negative connotation, which is if you fail the test, you have to retake the test. And it's stated as if it's like a punishment kind of thing. Like you failed the test now, rar, you have to retake it. But teachers don't give tests to fail students. They give tests to help the student understand what they have learned and what they've the information they've gained and the way to apply what they've gained. So at the end of the day, a test is never given for someone to fail. It's always given to promote. Now, the question is whether or not the student truly applied themselves during the learning process in order to pass the test. Now, some tests are easier than others. Some tests can come about pretty quickly. Others are cumulative tests, and you end up being tested on a lot of information at one time. So, one of the beautiful things about understanding the testing process and the fact that you do get tested is that one, you can be aware that you're being tested. See, if we don't believe and we don't understand that God does give us tests, and the easiest way to see this is in the fruit of the Spirit. If you've been, and I say this all the time, but people pray for patience, and it's like, it's totally a misunderstanding because the fruit of the Spirit, Holy Spirit's in you. And the fruit of Holy Spirit is patience. You already have patience in you. It's understanding that you have to now allow God to bring you through the process of watching that fruit of patience be developed. But if you don't understand that, then as soon as someone says, I'm praying for patience, and they run into a situation that causes them to actually, we'll say, not be patient for the lack of terminology at this moment, then they actually give up. They don't realize that this was in school. What we do is we do pre-tests, and the pre-test is to allow the student as well as the educator to know where the student is. But your educator, Holy Spirit, knows where you are, but it's to let you know where you are. So if you pray for patience and immediately you see an area where you don't necessarily have the patience that you should have, it's not about you failed that you should now quit. You actually got to assess where your patience really is. Now, what you look forward to is the learning process. So, okay, there's something I need to learn in this particular area. So wherever you found that you lost your patience, you now expect to be in that situation again or a similar situation so you can be more focused. Before a test, we always tell the students you need to make sure that you get a good night's sleep, that you eat your breakfast, you do all of those things. Why? Be focused for the test. Understand that there's a test and you need to be focused so that you can use all of the information, everything you've gathered in all of this time, and use all of your tools. One of the most terrible things you can see as a teacher is you give a student a test, let's say like a math test, and they take the entire test without using a piece of scrap paper, without actually writing a problem down and trying to solve it. Then they get finished with the test and they're like, yeah, man. And they look at their score and then you look at them, you're like, I literally gave you 200 tools to pass this test. You used none of them to pass the test. And it's obvious because you didn't truly pass the test. Did you show a little bit of growth? You did. You showed a little bit of growth. But did you show your true full potential? No, because you didn't use the tools that I gave you now for months, sometimes. So in a test, man, in a test, you have the opportunity to really be focused, to recognize that you're being tested not for failure, but for growth, for promotion. Because at the end of the day, when you're being tested, it's always about promotion. We don't test students in order for them to fail. We test students to show them what they've learned and so that they can be promoted to the next level due to the fact that they have that they now have passed through the process and shown that they've accomplished what needs to be learned during that time and they've actually mastered the material. We don't look to just be a basic learner. You look to be able to master the material during that time. Last thing I want to say, man, is if you understand the testing process and you have failed a test, one of the beautiful things in the spirit is that you can actually ask the Lord to retake the test. Now, if you don't know that you're being tested, or if you don't understand tests, then the test retake, which will come, may it may be years down the road because you will put it off yourself. You will not allow yourself to be in situations that will begin to bring that fruit out, to bring that testing time out, so that you can be assessed. You will kind of push yourself away from it. But when you recognize that, okay, I actually missed this, and I want to be tested again because I was not paying attention in the way that I should, you can ask for the test to be quick, and circumstances and things will come about in a quicker way. Actually, sometimes they'll come about really quickly, and you can retake that test, and you can pass that test, and you can move on, because not all tests are cumulative. Some tests are just those tests that I need to do a quick assessment to see what you've learned now, because later it will be a cumulative one, a cumulative test. But right now, it's a test that lets me come back. Okay, if I'm an educator, it lets me come back and say, okay, did I give my students the best opportunity to learn? Did I give them everything they need? And if there's certain things that they did not do well on, I don't have to go reteach everything. I can just teach little aspects. I can teach this point. I can teach that point. I don't have to reteach it all. Same thing it is for us, man. You don't have to necessarily learn everything all over again. You can go back. You can recognize the places where you missed it, and then you can retake that test, and now you can be focused on those places you missed it. You can realize there's some tools that I didn't use the last time that I need to use, whatever it might be. Testing, they do come. Testing is about promotion. It's about God's faithfulness to you as a spirit being, as a believer. He is faithful to you, and he wants to bring about the recognition of his faithfulness about what he has begun in you, that he truly does bring it to fruition. He truly does complete the process. If we won't allow him to test us, or if we don't recognize the test when it's there, then we won't use and we won't take advantage of the opportunity to show that we have learned enough and we've learned what we should learn in order to be promoted. People do this in we'll call it in the natural all the time, at work and stuff like that. They want that promotion, so they'll do whatever it takes. Well, same thing should be in the spirit. We need to be able to take those tests spiritually, pass those tests, that we can be moved on. Anyway, man, hope this helps. If not, if there's something I need to be more clear on or whatever, just let me know. Be blessed.